Let's talk now, though, to Callum McGoldrick, researcher at Taxpayers Alliance, because yesterday they came out with a fascinating little roundup of quango-itis that we seem to have in this country. Loads and loads of quangos, which get started up. Funnily enough, every time we hear there's going to be a bonfire of the quangos, there turns out to be even more quangos created. Callum, very good morning to you.
Hi, Mike. Good morning. Thank you very much for having me on.
Thanks a lot for joining us. In 2023-24, 438 quangos collectively accounted for £391 billion in public expenditure. I mean, it's not a small amount of money, this. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
No, it's not. And out of the taxpayer-funded income, it stood at 376 billion, which is greater than the GDP of Norway.
That's incredible.
So when you look at the amount taxpayers fund these two, it's insane.
And they've got 500,000 people working there as well. And nobody really knows what most of them do you?
I don't think they know what a lot of them do. I think the ones that do know what they do end up just creating more and more regulation that hamper the economy, that stop growth, that make life very, very difficult for a lot of businesses. I think when you look at the total workforce, as you said, 500,000, that's roughly the population of Liverpool we have working for quangos.
Right. And I mean, a lot of the people that end up working for these quangos are kind of, you know, failed politicians, failed researchers, failed, you know, think tank members who get laid off. It's a kind of jobs for the boys and girls scenario, isn't it?
A lot of the time it is, yeah. I think you look at the amount of growth that they cause, I'm not sure it's any. I think all as they do, from people I talk to, from people I see, is that they create a lot of headaches for businesses without adding much value to them.
And it's unaudited to a large extent, a lot of the money, the way it's spent, isn't it?
Well, they're meant to be responsible to a government ministry, but if you look at somewhere like the DCMS, the Department of Culture, Media and Sport, they're responsible for 41 quangos. It's simply impossible that they can oversee what each one does on a day-to-day basis.
And what, I mean, can you give us an example of one of these 41 quangos? What's the most ridiculous one, would you say?
I think Homes England, they're set up with a mission to increase homes in the UK, and yet all as they seem to do is wish to block planning permission for more homes.
Right.
So they do the exact opposite of what they're meant to do.
And Homes England, why would you even need them?
Well, it's a good question. I think before they were created, I don't think Britain was struggling to build homes, yet it seems they come along and then all of a sudden we can't do it anymore.
Right. And it will come as no surprise to know that the man that created the most quangos of any Prime Minister in the history of quangos is, of course, Tony Blair.
Yeah, Tony Blair with 92, that's roughly one every 6 weeks he was in office.
Right.
But I think, to be fair, you look at, you mentioned the bonfire of the quangos, that was a phrase coined by David Cameron. He made 54 of them. So, you know, it was really a problem from both major political parties for that.
And I was saying that, generally speaking, when people come in and say we're going to have a bonfire of the quangos, somehow, miraculously, more get created and none get destroyed. Yeah,
it's a problem that both political parties have struggled with. I think earlier you're mentioning Keir Starmer. The reason why is that a lot of the time they can outsource responsibility. It means when a problem goes wrong, they can say, oh, it's the quangos' fault, no, not mine, don't look at mine. But obviously that's a very hollow answer a lot of the time. I think, well, you're the elected official, you are ultimately the one responsible. Why don't you take accountability yourself?
Right. And one of the quangos that you've listed here is the NHS England quango, which seems to be in receipt of an awful lot of money. 175. It says 175 billion here, doesn't it? That can't be right. But NHS England has supposedly been abolished now, hasn't it?
No, that is correct. 175 billion went to NHS England because they then managed the expenditure given to all of the trusts.
Wow.
They have been abolished in name, but I'm sure that all that will happen is that all of their staff will move over to the Department of Health, along with all of their expenditure. So it's a classic Labour tactic of changing the name of something, but keeping all of the expenditure and all of the staff on payroll.
Right. And Network Rail is another one from the Department of Transport, 17 billion for them. I mean, they're supposedly in charge of the railway, aren't they, in terms of the actual railway lines themselves? But again, why do they need that sort of money?
Well, it's a great question. I think not many people know, and as more and more networks are getting nationalised, I'm sure their power will only grow. I doubt we'll see much service improvements as a result. Yeah,
it is quite extraordinary, isn't it? And the BBC is down as a quango as well, so they've got 5 billion, I think, from the Department of Culture, Media and Sport. Is that right? Is the BBC technically a quango?
Yeah, well, this data set uses the Cabinet Office's arm's length bodies list. So we don't include things like NHS trusts,
Right.
which could be classed as a quango. We only include things that the Cabinet Office themselves do admit are
Right.
quangos.
Wow. I didn't even think of the BBC as a quango. That explains an awful lot. Listen, great to talk to you, Callum. Thank you very much indeed. Callum McGoldrick there from the Taxpayers Alliance. Incredible list, actually. I can guarantee that you should have a look at it.